All right, here we go. We are in North Carolina with Jay, and we're talking about selling real estate and talking about the mountains and skiing and all that sort of awesome stuff, man. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Glad to be here, Luke. It's a good day. It's a good day to raid a house.
All right,
Let's do it.
let's look at a map or two and kind of go, a little refresher of what we're looking at here.
Yeah, let me pull that up real quick. All right, so here is a map of the high country. So you've got the big three B's, Banner Elk, Boone, and Blowing Rock. Where'd it go? There it is. Blowing Rock. And then everything in between. So everything kind of like 30 minutes from each other, unless you're going from Banner Rock to Blowing Rock or, vice versa. So you got all these little cities down through here, Seven Devils, Vasco, Vilas, all kind of down here through Highway 105. Um, but these areas are a little bit completely different. So if you want, I can jump into like regulations of these areas because compared to Western North Carolina, there's a lot more regulations up here.
Yeah, just
As
give us a little overview on that. Sure.
so, Blowing Rock, pretty much if it's on city water, it's kind of similar to Asheville's, um, you know, um, restrictions. You can't really rent anything inside there. It's, but on the outskirts and stuff that, outside the city limits, there are no county restrictions that I know of in either of these counties. So like Watauga and Avery County are kind of your two counties up here. And then you jog north to Boone. Anything really that's zoned residential can't rent there. So you're going to kind of want to be on the outskirts of Boone as well. Um, I suspect they did that because, it's a college town. They got App State there. They don't want college kids like renting in these residential neighborhoods and raising hell, for the actual people that live there. So that's kind of my thought on why that's restricted up in there. And then jogging over here to Banner Elk, you got Beech Mountain, Sugar Mountain, you got the Appalachian Ski Mountain. This is where you go for your snow skiing. Banner Elk doesn't really have any restrictions. The only thing that's really going to restrict you here is an HOA. But a lot of them really don't care. I mean, they understand this is a vacationing spot and they realize people come up here to snow ski, so it would behoove them, to actually allow short-term rentals here. So they'd lose a lot of revenue if they banned them all. But here you're going to find a lot of condos. There's a lot of condos up on the Beech Mountain and the snow areas. And if you're on a budget, and you don't mind owning a condo, they're going to be your cheaper real estate up here, anywhere from like 4 to 5. You can find them under 4 sometimes, high threes. It just depends on the condition. Now a lot of these condos are old. I will say that there's not a lot of new ones, but they all kind of vary, you know, because you own one. This person could have just renovated and fixed up a condo and it looks really great, but this one's kind of like, eh, haven't touched it since the 70s. So, um, but yeah, that's kind of your area there for that. And then your little towns like Seven Devils and Sugar Mountain down here, Fosco, West Jefferson, Linville. Um, you're going to kind of want to have a view or like a river, next to a stream or some water feature. You're going to want to have something pretty unique the farther you get away from these three B's, this triangle here, um, because they are a little farther from the action. So that's kind of what's going to make it better for you. Something that's kind of boring is not going to do well the farther out.
I got you. Give me some again. Go over those prices one more time. This is being recorded at the end of 2025.
Yeah. So your average purchase price in like Boone, for example, is like 500K, and it's kind of similar to my other market in pricing. Now, Blowing Rock does have a higher average purchase price, but some of the properties that get sold there to people that aren't renting them for short-term rental kind of skews that data a little bit. So in reality, I think it's probably closer to the average purchase price of Boone. Um, Banner Elk's going to be around 450, 500 as well. So, um, and that's going to be your bottom of the barrel. Of course, the higher you go, the better the quality is going to be better. But um, I'll stop moving that around. I'm kind of just circling the map around here.
No problem. No problem. What size properties are we looking at? Now, you said there's a lot of condos. I mean, am I looking at mostly condos or?
No, well, there's it's kind of a mix here in Banner Elk. You got a mix of condos and houses. So I mean, I'm guessing it's going to be kind of like 50-50 on that. Your condos are going to be 2 to 3 bedroom, depending, and they're going to be a lot smaller, maybe 1,000 square feet, a little bit higher. And then you have your normal residential houses here that are 1 to 2,000 square feet. They're all kind of mixed in there. You're going to find more of the condos up here, like on the beach, on the mountains, because there are some condoplexes up here that are ski in, ski out. So you can literally just fall off your deck into a ski lift and go snow skiing.
That's cool.
So, um, looked at a few up there just recently, actually.
Do you
It's a
have
very
any
pretty area.
beautiful area, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's stunning up
Do you
there on
have
the mountain.
any listings or Airbnb links or anything like that we could take a look at?
Yeah, let me show
Something
you one.
maybe something for sale?
This is one I just closed on not too long ago, a couple months ago. This is actually in Banner Out, kind of on the east side of Banner Out, but it's an example of one of those unique properties that do well because it's cool looking and unique. Let me get back to the beginning here, the slide. So, hot tub needs a little touch up on the outside, I think, but I mean, it's just an unorthodox design compared to a lot of the way houses are built up here. So inside's great, very nice modern touch to it. Um, and again, up here you really don't need a cabin per se to do well. It's just people are kind of looking at something unique and nicer than what they currently live in.
Oh,
So
that's cool. Look at that little rock
yeah,
sitting. So those chairs are junk, but
yeah. So that's pretty neat. And actually seeing that in person is pretty cool. But it's like up underneath that rock there. Just hope I'm not the one sitting in one of those chairs when it falls, or if it falls.
right, yeah.
But no, it's sturdy. It's just really cool. Um,
Um, so it's very updated on the interior here. You got some
mhm,
nice, very nice flooring and new kitchen and white stove or whatever that was.
mhm. Yeah,
Tongue
it's
and groove on the
pretty.
ceiling.
Where's that? So
I,
there's
I noticed a mini split. Is that normal?
yes, up here. So it doesn't usually get above 80 degrees up here in the summertime. Now it does kind of sometimes get up in the 90s for a couple days during the summer, but it's usually pretty temperate. And a mini split up here is more than enough to heat and cool an area up here. So a lot of the people that will use the mini split will do the one with the heat pump in it, so you can do heat. Um,
Are you saying a lot of these homes don't even come with HVAC?
The older ones sometimes don't because they you didn't need them. You didn't need heating and cooling. People relied on like, a fireplace. Especially if you find stuff like 20s, 30s, like 30s, like they just didn't have HVAC in them. But, going up to the 50s even, um, there's, I would say about 50-50 on like HVAC. Um, a lot of times you'll see it's usually a mini split because from what I understand, it's cheaper to put a mini split in than an HVAC unit. So they're like a heat pump. So this is interesting. This is actually the stairs going down, and there's like this little like offshoot here of the bed, like just a bed chilling right there if you keep going down the stairs. I thought that was kind of cool. And there's the stairs coming up.
So that house is for sale currently?
No, we just closed on this one. This one closed at 450.
Let's go.
It,
That's heat in the wall right there. You got to understand,
yeah.
I live in Florida. That is really weird.
Yeah, you'll see those from time to time. Those little, they're just basically space heaters in the wall. Um, this has a really cool downstairs kid area. Like, so these are all bunk beds along the wall up here. And
I mean, this is the South after all, right? How cold does it get?
um, it drops down in the 20s, usually sometimes into the teens. But I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, well, for the high country. Yeah, it's about the same here too. I mean, it doesn't snow horribly often, and a lot of the ski resorts will blow their own snow, and but we also do get natural snow through here. And high country's kind of in the path of those storms, so they'll get a lot more snow than like say Western North Carolina would. Now, back in the old days when I was young, we used to get snow all the time, but times has changed on this. And they just went live. I just talked to him today, and they just went live on Airbnb with this. I'm trying to get a link from him, but this was an example. They paid cash for this, so there's no mortgage on this house. And yeah, it's a great little unique place, and I keep preaching unique, unique, unique.
And this was a lifestyle situation. This gentleman is interested in the area, or
Yeah, they kind of got it just so they want to do a short-term rental. They want to get in the game, uh, but they also want something that you want to visit. I get a lot of folks that are looking for that. They want to visit occasionally, but it's mostly they want to have it as a short-term rental and make some money on it. But if anybody has a second home, that's a great idea. Have even if you're not wanting to get in the business, having a second home up here and then renting it out while you're not here, have somebody else pay for your investment.
absolutely.
So. And that happens a lot up here. And, as a result, that's your competition. So, if you all have the benefit of being learned and coming through the short-term shop. So we're, teaching you how to do all this stuff. But, and you get to you know, most people use property managers up here and they do what they can to get their 20 to 30% a year.
Yeah, we would love to help you. Management Monday, 10,000 people served.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we're more than happy to answer any of your questions here at the short term shop. And thank you for the shout out. All right. Anyway, you have what else you have? You got maybe an Airbnb link or something?
I don't have that link to it. That's kind of all I had for that one prepared.
Okay.
But
What are
yeah,
we looking at for days on market around here?
it's going to be about the same, about 2, 3 months, maybe a little less, but, well, maybe a little longer up here because so we're about at 7.2 months worth of product up here in the high country, and that's really due because like the hurricane. There's a lot of people that pulled off market after the hurricane because Banner out the high country got hit pretty hard. Um, so as a result, some stuff was damaged. People are pulling off, and now everybody's putting back on. So our inventory's kind of shot up a little bit on there. So with the higher inventory like that, it's gonna push the days on market a little bit more because there's just so much to choose from. So I think it's a little bit longer than I would say it's a little bit longer than say Western North Carolina, but not too much. And it also applies. If your house is good, doesn't need any work, it's obviously going to sell faster than something that does need work, that's not in a good location. You could look up upwards to a year on the market.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. So, in other words, I can go out there and throw some offers and maybe get somewhere.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. There's plenty of room for negotiation.
Okay. And let me turn that off real quick.
Yep.
Um, again, we were talking on the other North Carolina podcast about the market and where everything is right now and the 10-year yield and everything is really weird and we don't really know what to expect. But it's a good time to get a deal, and you've got 7 months worth of inventory in this market, which is that's a lot. And I think people need to start getting off the sidelines before it's too late. I hate to say it, but it seems to me like that's where we're at. Like, a lot of uncertainty right now, I think, is the biggest problem with the government shutdown and everything at the time of this recording. But um, it does seem that things have kind of, stabilized a little bit. And we might be heading into a more optimistic future as far as real estate is concerned. What are your thoughts there? Are you seeing any good signs in this market?
To be honest, Luke, like this is my best year in real estate so far. I've been slammed. I got tons of people coming up here buying right now, and I think one of the big attractors is our market is not like super overpriced. It's affordable for the new investor. It's affordable for the old investor, but I feel like we're doing good. I think everything's kind of balancing out, at least here in North Carolina. I can't speak to the rest of the other markets that we serve, but
Yeah,
we're definitely, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And people get in before the end of the year, that 100% appreciation's back,
that's
depreciation's
back.
back.
Yeah,
Yep.
it'll be back next year too. And
Let's
that's
get in and get
great.
something. You still got time.
Yeah, we still got time I don't know when this is coming out, but at the recording of this, we do have time. But yeah, I mean, like down here in Florida, man, it's still slow, you know. I mean, it's people are kind of kicking around a little bit, but properties are just sitting and there's not a lot of buyers. And I think this is one of the last to come back around. I know the Tennessee Smokies are a little busier again, and
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, you know, it's been 2 years really of a pretty slow market. I read a statistic that the month of August this year was the most terminated contracts in the history of having a 1 month period in history. And since then, September and October's not over yet at the time of the recording of this, they've bounced back big time. So some of the things I'm seeing is that maybe August of this year, of course, that's just one statistic, might be the end of you know the deals falling apart.
I closed
Uh,
like three or four in August, I think.
nice, that's great for
So
one agent, you know.
I remember,
So
yeah. But yeah, it's forgot what I
all
was
right.
gonna say.
So if I live in or I want to get involved in North Carolina ski market, this is the place to be. Boone, Blowing Rock. This is a little bit more expensive homes in these areas too. You know, if you like a
Mhm.
nicer lifestyle asset type of a deal.
There's
Um,
some good luxury properties up here too. It just depends on, those are a little bit more restrictive because of, those kind of neighborhoods will restrict
it's
they
an
usually will
interesting
restrict short-term
conversation.
rental.
This the super luxury. Buddy of mine's a photographer, and he was shooting photos of a home yesterday, and he sent me a couple of pictures, and I was like, "Dang, dude, if I could afford that house, I would not rent it." You know,
That's my trophy house.
the trophy house, and
There you
there is
go.
nothing wrong with the trophy house. You know, so that's cool. All right, anything else we need to know about North Carolina ski country?
No, it's bouncing back, and right now it's really the best time to get something up here in either of these the North Carolina markets that I'm in, just because you have that ability to haggle. So, just don't be scared when you see something that's been on the market for 180 days. Usually when we see that, we're like, oh, what's wrong with it? It's been on the market this long. It's just the way the market is. Like, and it could be it's overpriced. It could be the agent didn't do a good job of representing it. Um, there's a lot of factors here. It's not, don't jump to like the grim conclusion. Just ask me and we'll look at it. We'll take a look at it and see what's going on there, and just don't let that scare you off, before you do your homework on it. So,
Yeah. All right, Jay. Well, we appreciate your time, buddy. It's Jay at theshorttermshop.com. And we'll be back with another episode, hopefully sooner than later, here on the North Carolina podcast.
hell yeah.
All right.
Skull.
All right. See you later.